On the night of Friday, March 28th to Saturday, March 29th, 2025, a wave of shock spread across social media with the sudden announcement of the death of Blaise Compaoré, the former president of Burkina Faso. The news, initially shared by anonymous sources, has yet to be officially confirmed by the Burkina government, leaving the nation in a state of suspense and reflection. For many citizens, this moment represents more than just the passing of a former leader. It serves as a critical juncture to examine the complex legacy of a man whose rule shaped the nation's trajectory for nearly 3 decades. The mixed reactions to his death reveal the deep divisions that still exist within Burkina society regarding his presidency and the unresolved wounds from his time in power. Blaise Compaoré was a figure who evoked deeply conflicting emotions among the Burkina people. To some, particularly those who benefited from his long rule, he represented stability and continuity during turbulent times in West Africa. His supporters might argue that he maintained relative peace in a region often plagued by instability, and that his pragmatic approach to governance brought certain economic benefits to segments of the population. However, to many others, especially those who remember the revolutionary ideals of Thomas Sankara, Compaoré's legacy remains forever tarnished by violence, betrayal, and the suppression of democratic aspirations. This fundamental tension in how he is remembered speaks to the ongoing struggle within Burkina Faso to reconcile with its past and define its future. The most damning aspect of Compaoré's legacy remains his role in the assassination of Thomas Sankara, his former friend, comrade, and Burkina Faso's revolutionary leader. Sankara's murder on October 15, 1987, remains one of the most traumatic and controversial events in the nation's history. The 2022 conviction of Compaoré in absentia to 20 years in prison for his involvement in Sankara's killing represented a long-delayed acknowledgement of justice, though many felt it came too late and without proper closure. Sankara's revolutionary ideals, his emphasis on self-reliance, his fight against corruption, and his vision of Pan-African solidarity continue to inspire generations of Africans, making his untimely death at Compaoré's hands all the more painful for those who believed in his vision. Compaoré's 27-year rule, from 1987 to 2014, was marked by growing accusations of authoritarianism, human rights abuses, and systemic corruption. While his early years saw some economic growth and infrastructure development, his regime gradually became characterized by the consolidation of power, the suppression of dissent, and the enrichment of a political elite. The frustration among ordinary Burkinabe grew steadily, particularly as promises of democratic reform proved empty. The final straw came in 2014 when Compaoré attempted to amend the constitution to extend his 27-year rule, sparking massive popular protests that ultimately forced him into exile in Ivory Coast. Even from abroad, his presence continued to loom large over Burkina Faso's political landscape, with periodic rumors about his potential return and ongoing debates about whether he should face justice for the crimes alleged during his rule. For many Burkinabe citizens, Compaoré's death does not bring closure, but rather reopens old wounds and reignites fundamental questions about justice, accountability, and national reconciliation. The younger generation, who may not have lived through the Sankara years but grew up hearing about his ideals, now faces the challenge of deciding how to remember this contested period in their nation's history. Some may argue that his death should allow the country to move forward, while others insist that true reconciliation requires a more thorough reckoning with the past. This tension reflects a broader challenge facing many African nations as they navigate transitions from authoritarian rule to more democratic systems, how to address historical injustices while building a united future. The circumstances surrounding Compaoré's death, still unconfirmed by official sources at the time of this reporting, add another layer of complexity to this moment. Should the reports prove true, the nature of his passing, his final years in exile, and the reactions from different segments of Burkina society will all become part of the historical record. Already, social media platforms are flooded with heated debates between those who view this as an opportunity for national healing and those who believe it represents justice denied. This vibrant, if sometimes contentious, discussion demonstrates the enduring importance of history in shaping contemporary political consciousness. To our cherished YouTube community, our dedicated subscribers, loyal members, and engaged viewers, we want to express our deepest gratitude. Your thoughtful comments, your passionate engagement with these important issues, and your support through views and shares are what make this channel a vibrant space for meaningful dialogue about Africa's past, present, and future. To those who have generously used YouTube's Super Thanks feature to support our work, we cannot thank you enough. Your contributions directly enable us to continue producing in-depth content that matters. If you haven't tried Super Thanks yet, we humbly ask you to consider using it on this video. It's a wonderful way to support independent creators like us while showing your appreciation for the content we work hard to produce. The story of Blaise Compaoré and Burkina Faso's unfinished reckoning with his rule speaks to much larger questions about governance, justice, and historical memory that resonate across the African continent and beyond. In many nations emerging from periods of authoritarian rule or conflict, societies face similar challenges in addressing past injustices while moving forward. The debate between those advocating for justice and accountability versus those prioritizing reconciliation and moving on is not unique to Burkina Faso. From South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission to Rwanda's post-genocide reconstruction, various models exist for navigating these difficult transitions, each with its own strengths and limitations. What makes Burkina Faso's situation particularly poignant is the enduring power of Thomas Sankara's revolutionary vision as a counterpoint to Compaoré's rule. Sankara's emphasis on self-reliance, his modest lifestyle, and his commitment to women's rights and environmental protection created an alternative model of leadership that continues to inspire not just in Burkina Faso, but across Africa and the global South. The contrast between Sankara's brief idealistic rule and Compaoré's long pragmatic presidency presents a stark lesson about the challenges of sustaining revolutionary change and the corrupting nature of prolonged power. As Burkina Faso processes this news, the international community watches with interest. The country has faced significant challenges in recent years, including growing insecurity from extremist groups and political instability. How the nation navigates this moment of reflection could have implications for its ability to address current crises and chart a more stable future. The danger lies in allowing old divisions to resurface and distract from pressing contemporary issues. The opportunity exists to find a unifying narrative that acknowledges past wrongs while focusing on building a better future. For those who suffered directly under Compaoré's rule, the families of political prisoners, the victims of human rights abuses, the activists who fought for democracy, his death may bring mixed emotions. Some may feel cheated of the opportunity to see him face proper justice, while others may experience a sense of relief or closure. These personal stories and individual journeys of healing remind us that behind the grand narratives of history lie countless human experiences that resist simple categorization. The role of memory and memorialization will be crucial in the coming months. How Burkina Faso chooses to remember Compaoré through official statements, media coverage, public discussions, and educational curricula will shape the nation's historical consciousness for generations to come. This process is never neutral. It always involves choices about what to emphasize, what to downplay, and how to frame complex events. The challenge will be to create space for multiple perspectives while establishing a shared understanding that can serve as foundation for national unity. As we reflect on these weighty issues, we also want to take a moment to pray for peace, not just in Burkina Faso, but across our beloved African continent and the world at large. In these turbulent times marked by conflicts, political tensions, and social divisions, the need for peace, understanding, and compassionate leadership has never been greater. May Burkina Faso's experience serve as a reminder of the importance of justice, the dangers of unchecked power, and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. We now turn to you, our valued audience, for your perspectives. How do you view Blaise Compaoré's legacy? What lessons should African nations draw from Burkina Faso's experience with prolonged rule and subsequent transition? How can societies best balance the need for justice with the imperative of moving forward? Your insights enrich this important conversation, so please share them in the comments below. If this discussion has resonated with you, we kindly ask you to like this video, share it with others who might find it meaningful, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. For those able to support our work more directly, remember that YouTube's Super Thanks feature is available. Your generosity helps sustain this platform for thoughtful dialogue. In closing, the death of Blaise Compaoré marks the end of an era, but not the end of Burkina Faso's journey to come to terms with its past. May this moment inspire honest reflection, compassionate dialogue, and renewed commitment to the ideals of justice, democracy, and human dignity that so many Burkinabe have fought for throughout their history. From the depths of our hearts, we thank you for being part of this community of thoughtful engagement. Together, let us continue these vital conversations that shape our understanding of Africa's past and our vision for its future.